This staircase is around 60 years old and was falling apart. I had to cut through rusty bolts with a grinder, mix concrete, and fix a few mistakes along the way. It was a tough challenge, but the end result was totally worth it. The bolts had to go. Rust is solid, impossible to turn. So I grabbed the grinder and sparks flew as I worked on the old metal. Then came the hammer and chisel to free the rotting wood. I removed the stringers which had been completely eaten away by rust. Grinding them clean was loud, messy, and dusty. Once the rust was gone, I sealed the metal with a zinc rust inhibitor, preparing it for what was coming next. I mixed the concrete, filled the holes, and smoothed it out. After that, I prepped the threads. There was one thread missing. It was pretty bad. I had to take it back and get a new one. I used a string line to make sure all the threads were lined up, and I had a template to guide me. I measured 43 millimeters from the edge of the thread. Alright, got a couple marks. Amy 10, 60 mil galvanized. There was a weld in the way, so I flipped the thread over, trimmed the excess, and carved a recess so it wouldn't block the feed. Finally got all the threads on. Once everything was aligned, I bolted it all together, lining nice and... A little patching was needed here, and eventually this part will be patched white. We won't see anything anyways. Alright, it's time for lunch. But there's something really interesting I want to show you. You can hook it up to your car battery at 12 volts. Right. Or plug it into a regular power outlet at home. If you're keen to get one, I've left a link in the description. Definitely worth checking out. Lunchtime. And I'm preparing the post here. The handrail will sit on top of the post, which is bolted in place and runs all the way up. The handrail needs to be a meter higher, so I'm going to cut it a bit longer, 1200 millimeters. 1200. I'll drill a small hole here with my spade bit and make sure this is gonna sit on top here. Okay, now we've got a plumb for the both sides. This one and this one. I'm marking 45 millimeters here to ensure it's centered. I'll raise it 50 millimeters from the bottom to position it correctly. I'm using 120 mil bolts, galvanized. I believe you need 3 washers. Let's make a plumb again. I'm going 100 mil. It's a little tricky here, so I'm marking 900 millimeters for the portable fuel level. I'm going to pencil it in at the top. See, 900 plumb mark. We've got 900 millimeters here, and now we're ready to cut. Let's check this one too, just to be sure.
Pretty close.
Okay, I'll put it close to the mark, and now we're ready to cut the handrail at the angle I marked earlier.
That's our mark.
I've already cut the handrail at the angle I marked here. Now I'm taking the post off.
Yeah, nice.
With the handrail in place, I'll put the post back, then measure and cut this post here. I need to make sure it's plumb. I'll make palm cuts here.
Alright, here you go. There it is.
Marking 45 millimeters, 40 millimeters, and 100 millimeters. That's it for today. Yesterday, I put this post in place, but this section here is much bigger than this one. What I'm thinking is moving this post this way, it'll look more symmetric, and the spaces between the balustrades will be exactly the same. I've already put the handrail in place, and now I'm going to take some measurements. The post is 90 millimeters wide, and I'm going to cut it at a 45.
So 45 mil, and go 45 mil. I need to cut between these two lines. And let's flip that over. There we go. Sit the post in place. Scribe on top there. Just need to drill the holes and that's it.
Both holes are drilled. I'm going to take it down and cut here and here.
12 and a half, 12 and a half.
Now let's mark 10 millimeters. Make sure it's always secure here. Keep your fingers away. I made a good call moving this post back 45 millimeters.
$900. $900. I'm doing the bottom rail.
I'm marking the edge line and setting the height, 90 millimeters, 90 millimeters. If you go forward to the line, it's 60 millimeters. We already have 60 millimeters from here to here.
Here to here. I think 90 will be safe. 90. Good. Let's go 90 mil. Going 60 mil height. Level. And 60 mil high. We're gonna start doing some calculations and see what the distance between the balustrades.
You just need to measure here 1210 and 1220. I'm using an app and I'll leave the link in the description. So let's go. 1210, 43 millimeters. Here we go. That's 11 edge lines. Level it out. 34.7 millimeters. For the opening, it's 44 millimeters. We'll cut one first. Make sure it fits both the top and bottom. If it works, we can cut them all at once.
And go to here, 920.
That's perfect. Moving up, it worked.
You need to keep the distance 44 mil. I'm gonna cut 10 plates. Bang. The last one looks good. I'm cut a piece of this guy here and then nail it through here. I'm gonna sand around.
We can't have more than 5mm difference between the steps. This one is 175mm. I will check them all one by one. This one is 179mm. I'm going to increase the bottom tread by 3mm.
Fixed.
To ensure the same height, from 175 centimeters to 250 centimeters, we need to lift it up, so we'll do some form work. I'm checking here. It's 173 millimeters from the top of the concrete, and it's the same.
Level. We're ready to go.
I'll make some grooves to ensure the new concrete will bond properly. Let's check again. 173 millimeters. 173 millimeters.
Pretty good.
I started by cutting iron bars and tying them together with wire to create a mesh for the concrete. Once it was set, I smoothed it out and left it to dry for a few hours. Afterward, I brushed the surface to make it more adhesive.
$70 and 70.
For the edges, I'm using a bullnose profile. Finally, I used a sponge to remove the excess cement, leaving a smooth and polished finish.